Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the latest flying kayak YouTube video. Today's production is something different and very new. Today we'll be flying the Cessna 182, and I've decided to produce a series flying different aircraft around different airports, basically just taking the aircraft for VFR flights and testing them out. Today we're flying the A2A Cessna 182 around Skopje Airport in North Macedonia. This is going to be a short flight, and it's just going to be a familiarization flight with the aircraft, as this is a almost brand new Cessna 182. We'll get into the flight times just in a minute, and yeah, we're basically a new Cessna 182 pilot who's just getting familiarized with this specific aircraft type. So, the aircraft you're currently seeing in front of you is the A2A Cessna 182 that you already know from previous videos of mine. This is prepared version 4, and this is one of my personal favorite aircraft out there for this particular simulator. I'm a big fan of A2A aircraft, as they produce very nice and easy to fly general aviation simulations that offer a simulation depth that's incredible. Like, I've never seen anything like that. I'll show you what I mean by that in just a minute. And at the same time, I'm also a big fan of the Cessna 182. Now, I personally love general aviation and I love single-engine piston planes. And I think the Cessna 182 is just a great entry-level single-engine piston plane for the simulator. It's a bit more exciting than your standard Cessna 172. It offers you a slight bit more performance, which is super important, especially for us simulator pilots, as we want to get from A to B quite fast. We often don't have all that time to spend in the simulator, and being a bit faster in a Cessna 182 is just an amazing way to get from A to B. And at the same time, it still offers the simplicity, the sightseeing capability of your average small high-wing Cessna. And in the A2A version, which we'll just get into in a moment, it offers incredible fidelity while still being one of the most realistic and, as it's a Cessna, easy to fly add-ons I've ever seen for the simulator. Now, this is prepared version 4, but A2A has already started bringing their add-ons to MSFS 2020. And we've seen that start with the Piper Comanche, which is one of my personal favorite add-ons for FS 2020. And definitely one of the best general aviation add-ons out there, if not the best general aviation add-on money can buy in 2023. And I'm very excited for them to bring the rest of their lineup and maybe even a few new planes to Flight Simulator 2020. And I'm definitely looking forward to them bringing a small Cessna, as these really are planes that are near and dear to my heart, both in the simulator and in the real world, to Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. Now, we're about to hop into this little 182. First things first, I'm just going to quickly go over the windows here. Now, we do have a checklist window here that we'll be using later. And what's more important for now is that we take a look at the payload. Now, our fuel tanks are almost full. We did burn off a little fuel on our last flight, and we haven't filled her up quite yet. Yeah. As the fuel has cross-filled a bit, actually, I'm going to fill up both tanks again to 100%. Aircraft weight is just the pilot with 90 kilograms. That would be me. And I'm going to add nice and relaxed 10 kilograms of baggage. So just me and a backpack in the aircraft today. In general, that should leave us way below maximum takeoff weight, which is okay. That's more than enough, and it's all that we want today. And then checking out the other windows, that's our navigation window. And then we have our hangar. Now, the Cessna 182 that we're flying today has about 14 hours on the airframe and about 8 hours on the engine. It's equipped with a stock propeller, so no modifications there, and condition is basically like new. We don't have anything we could remove here. So we've got the engine heater kit installed. We've got flap gap seals, main wheel fairing, nose wheel fairing. The only thing that's still basic is the propeller. Taking a look at the engine, everything's fine there. If we were to do a compression test, which we can do in this aircraft, we'll see that everything's fine there as well. This is where this actually really shines as a simulation, because it simulates all the wear and tear that we'd get in our normal real-world Cessna 182. And oh, I'm pretty sure that would cause quite the amount of wear and tear in a real Cessna 182. Okay, this is new. Like, I've never yet had a Cessna 182 run over by a Cobus bus, but I guess accidents happen, and apparently it didn't really affect our Cessna, so we'll just continue on here. Okay, moving on, back to the hangar. This is what I really like about this, because what this does is it allows us to more or less track our airplane usage. If we fly the airplane by the book, and we take good care of it, and we take good care of the engine, we'll have a long time of flying without any issues. If we fly rough, or we use the engine too much at high power settings, well, we're gonna feel it in the maintenance hangar. Now you might think that this is just a play thing that's just, you know, a toy, and it's fun and stuff like that, but it's not actually important in any way. It is, because in the simulator I found that I often throw airplanes around and I just fly, and you know, just leaving the throttle at full power for a few more minutes and maybe over-temping the engine or something. Where is the issue? It's just a simulator. The next time I load the airplane, it's gonna be a brand new airplane anyways. And this is where this simulation aspect really shines, because it forces you to use the airplane just as you would in the real world. It forces me to think, okay, how am I going to use it? How am I going to fly it? How am I going to manage the engine? And that makes flying in the simulator much more realistic, because now on that high altitude hot day climb out, I can't just firewall the throttle and see what happens. I have to actually use the power I have remaining. And that means that you'll fly much closer to the real world, or at least that's the way it was for me. And that meant more realistic operations, more fun, and in general, kind of the feeling that this is closer to what flying in the real world would be like. Okay, now enough rambling about the airplane. Let's quickly hop into the cockpit for today. Now, the cockpit is a fairly simple cockpit. Here we've got steam gauges, no G1000, no GTNs. We've only got a basic GNS, I think. GNS 530 is the correct name. This is the Reality XP version of the GNS, I'm pretty sure, and that gives us a pretty good simulation of an in-depth GPS system, which is very nice to have, especially in an aircraft like this, which is a bit faster and a bit more capable of IFR cruising. We've got realistic Hobbs times here, 14.1, oh, my view jumped a bit there, 14.1 hours, just as it was in the maintenance hangar. And we've got the owner's handbook in the side pocket, as well as the map, which opens the navigation window. Let me just quickly click on the map again to make that disappear. Okay, for now, all we need to do is we need to start the walk around. Okay, now we're in the airplane, so we're in the cabin. We'll take care of the pitot tube cover in a minute. Actually, no, let's take care of that right now. I'll move another window in there. I'll take the pitot cover off. Pilot's operating handbook is in plane. Weight and balance is checked. We're at 90 kilograms. Pilot weight 10 kilograms ragged. That's fine. Fuel is full. Parking brake down there. It's set. Control wheel lock. We'll remove that. Ignition switch is off. Avionics master switch is off. Battery master switch should be this one. We'll turn it on. Pitot heat. That's right over here. We'll turn that one on as well. Fuel quantity. You should have a gauge over there. Yeah, left and right are full, just as we expected. Avionics master switch. I'll turn that on in a minute. Okay, now my avionics master switch is on as well. static pressure alternate source valve, that's over there somewhere, but that's all already set up. That's where it is. Annunciator panel test switch. Move that down to night, day, and up to test. That's all set. Now set it to day, as we're flying in the day today. All right. Fuel selector, quickly check that that's set to left, right, and both. There you go. And we'll extend the flaps. 1, 2, 3 flap settings. Checking that my pitot heat goes back off, my avionics master switch is back off, and once my flaps have traveled all the way down, which they should in just a moment. There you go. I'll turn off the battery master. Check that my elevator trim is set for takeoff, which it is. And now we're good in the cabin. Now we'll move out and we can add and remove the pitot tube cover, and we can check that our pitot tube is actually warm to the touch, which it should be. And then we can check our baggage compartment, which is locked. We can play around with the different things. We can remove our tie down, which is important. Check that our elevator hinges are looking good. Our rudder hinges and connectors are looking good as well. And we can move around there. That's good. We can check our flaps as well and our hinges there as well. They're all good. Check our aileron hinges. Remove all of that. Check our chocks. Basically what we can do is a realistic walk around here, which is actually really cool. We can even look at the fuel sump, drain fuel, check that there's no contaminants in there, that's all good. Check the tank level visually, which is also all good. Check our static port, sump the fuel strainer, check the nose. So yeah, that's actually really, really cool. We can do all of those things just as we would in a real world airplane. We can even check the oil color and see if our oil is discolored, which would hint that something's contaminating it, or it's old oil that should probably be changed. And that's all stuff that really makes this airplane come to life and seem a lot more realistic. Just quickly check the stall warning vane. Perfect. Yeah, so basically I can just realistically walk around here and check the airplane just as I would in the real world. Okay, we've done that. And I actually think that this is the point where for the first video, we're done. We've done the walk around, we've gone over the basics of the plane, and now we're going to continue with the familiarization flight by starting up the engine, taxiing to the active runway here in Skopje, and then we'll move on from there and fly a simple traffic pattern. Okay, so I've got my checklist right here ready, and yeah, I'll see you in just about a minute, and I hope we don't get run over by any wild Cobus buses in the meantime. Alright, thanks for watching, and I wish you a great time.